Hey Guitar Fam and friends, how's it going? It's Nate here and welcome to this cover song video lesson where we're going to take a look at the Ed Sheeran song Thinking Out Loud. It's kind of fingerstyle-y and we're starting to get into that. So if you've been wanting to get into fingerstyle, this is a good one to kind of break the ice. All the resources for this lesson for you are available on guitarfam.com. So go there, you can download the jam track, a simple chord chart, and then a tab with all the detailed parts. And if you haven't yet, go to guitarfam.com and create your complimentary account. You'll be able to access the first module of all of our premium courses that help you learn the foundational things you need to know to be able to play songs like this. And the best part about it is every Guitar Fam member, whether it's complimentary account or a premium account, every member gets a personal private one-on-one lesson with me, and the first one is complimentary. So you can go sign up for that and schedule it on the site, whatever suits you. All right, let's go ahead and get into this one. Just to let you know for tones what I was using on this one, I was gonna use my Strat because the song sounds pretty stratty in the recording, but I found that I just like the way this PRS sounded a little bit better, so I engaged the coil taps and put both pickups on, and I found out that that's the closest that I could get to the recording of the song. And I forget what Tone X model that I used on this recording for the solo and the rhythm parts, but I'll flash it up on the screen here for you. Let's go ahead and go through the chords you need for this song. These are just in the order in which they appear in the song. So an open D, so normal D, then you need a D over F sharp. So grab the F sharp on the second fret of the low E with your thumb, then a regular G chord, open G major, then you need an A major, the 5 chord in the key of D. And I use this version of A major because there's a lot of quick changing between the G and the A, and this one is just facilitates that a little bit better for me. Then I have an E minor, that's the 2 chord, and then an A7. Instead of just a normal A, just take your finger off whichever finger you're fretting the G string with. Just take that off and play the G string open. And the last chord you need is just a B minor. So that's 6 chord in the key of D major. Okay, moving on. Let's just look at the main chord progression you're gonna be playing for the majority of the song. It's just a D, D over F sharp, G to A. And that's the main progression for the verses, for the verses of this song. And even into the chorus as well, that's the main progression you're gonna be using. There are 2 basic variations that I wanna share with you. And the first one is the more complicated one when he starts off verse 1. So let's go ahead and go to the little bit less complicated version so you can kind of get that down, and then you can add a couple notes in to play the more complicated variation. So here's the easier one. So I'm gonna start on a D major chord, and all I'm gonna do is, it's fingerstyle. You don't have to do it fingerstyle, you can strum it, but I'm gonna do it like the recording as close as possible. So when I play a D, I'm just playing the D string with my thumb and the G string with my index finger, B string with my middle finger. And those are the only 3 notes I'm playing for the D. So on 1, and then on 2, for an 8th note, I kind of slap the strings and mute them. And on the and of 2, that's when I switch to my D over F sharp, and I grab the D over F sharp like this. Use my thumb on the low E string, and then these 3 fingers get the D, G, and B strings. And then on 4, you have another muted kind of slap. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So just get that down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I have that D over F sharp made already because why not have it in place, right? It's kind of there at the ready. So just D, mute, D over F sharp, mute. Okay? So that's the main first thing you need to get down. Then move to a G, and it's kind of the same rhythm here. It is the exact same rhythm, but it's for a G and an A. So G on 1, on 2, hit the strings to mute them, and then on the and of 2, I'm just playing, for the G, sorry, I'm just playing the low E string with my thumb, the D string with my index finger, and then the G string with my middle finger. Only 3 strings here. Then mute, then move to an A, and then I only play 3 strings again. My thumb moves to the A string though to hit the root note for the A for this chord. And then on 4, mute it again. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so that's the main thing you get down. If that's all you get down, for the verses and the choruses pretty much you can get by with through all the parts like that. There are some more, you know, you have to learn that too, but this is the majority of the song. This is like 70% of the song, I would say, maybe 60. Anyway, I'll play the whole thing for you. So this is what you want to go for. Be really mechanical about this at first if you have to commit it to memory. Listen to it a lot so you can kind of speak it or sing it. Dun, ch, dun, ch, dun, ch, dun, ch. And then you start playing it slow. And it's really it's a pretty slow feeling tempo. And the biggest thing that I had struggled with playing this was not rushing or speeding it up, just listening and laying back, letting the jam track of the song dictate the tempo to me and waiting for the chords, and I try not to rush. So get that down first, and then once you have that down, you'll see that halfway through verse 1, that's the part that comes in. It starts off with a little more complicated part for the intro, and it just has some hammer-ons and some extra bass notes. I'll show you. So it starts off the same way. It's almost the exact same thing. You just have a hammer-on. So it's the exact same, but at the very beginning, on beat 1, you start off and pinch the notes with your index finger off of the G string. And as soon as you play those notes, pinch those notes for the D, you just hammer on with your index finger. And I'm not even playing the high E string with my middle finger because I'm not using it, right? But that's what you want to get down. And everything else is the same, okay? So work on adding that in. And then the second measure with the G to the A. Everything's the same up to that point. So you have 1 and 2 and 3. And then on and, you have an A note with your thumb. And leave your A in place like this, A in place, and then pluck the D and G strings and hammer onto the 4th fret of the G string with your 3rd finger. And then I grab the D string that's already being fretted, the 2nd fret here with this finger, on the and of 4. So let me play that whole second measure for you. And then you start over. So that one was probably the trickiest part of this whole song to get down for me. So here, and then you have to go right back into the. Because I would really isolate that. That's what I had to do. I had to isolate those last 2 beats of the A. So from this A. Okay, and that's really the entire main riff of the song. So what you end up doing for verse 1 is you just play the more complicated version of the riff or the progression 4 times, and then you play the less complicated version of the riff 4 times. I won't like make you sit here and listen to me play the same riff 8 times in a row, but you play it 4 times and then the easier version 4 times, and then you go into the pre-chorus of the song. And like, don't let it stop you if you can't do the more complicated version. Just play the simple version for now, and so you can get to play through the whole song. Let's go to the pre-chorus. It starts off on an E minor, and things stay kind of simple here. The rhythm is just for most of the rest of the pre-chorus here. And this is the people fall in love in mysterious ways, that part. So what I'm doing is I'm pinching the low E string, and then these 3 fingers right in a row get the D, G, and B strings. And the rhythm is 1 and mute on 2, and then on the and of 2, and 3, and then 4, you pluck again 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's the rhythm for the next, all the chords in the pre-chorus except for the very last measure. So you play 1 measure of E minor. And then the next measure is split. It's the same rhythm, but it's split between an A7 and a D7. So these fingers end up getting the 4 middle strings for the A7, and then muting, and then you move to a D and play just these 3 strings, the D, G, and B strings. So that measure with A7 and D, 1 and 2, and 3, 4. Then you have another measure of E minor, same exact as the first measure of the pre-chorus. Then you have a measure of A7, and it's the exact same rhythm. Back to E minor, one measure, same rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Then you have another split measure between an A7 and a B minor, 1 and 2. Then for B minor, same middle 4 strings, and 3, 4. Then E minor for one measure, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And this is the measure that's a little bit different rhythmically than all the other measures. It's a measure of A7, but you just play 5 eighth notes, kind of building up into the chorus of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1 and 2 and 3, and stop on 3. Cut that short and rest for the rest of the measure. Let me play that whole pre-chorus for you. And if you're having trouble with this, I would suggest just working on the chord progression first. You know, just to make sure you have the chords down. And then work on the rhythm by itself, just that. Make sure you can do that. Okay, and then put them together and it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I do I think I end up strumming that during the play-along, the full play-along for this. You can either strum it or pinch it. It doesn't matter, it's really up to you. But the verses and the pre-choruses are the same every time you play them, so it's nice. Once you have verse 1 and the pre-chorus 1 learned, it's the same exact thing the next time you come around to it. All right, let's get to the chorus of the song, which is great because you already know it. It's just the easy or simpler version of the D over F sharp, G, A progression that you already learned in the second half of the first verse. So just play that 4 times. There's number 3. And now here's probably one of the more challenging parts of the song, this little it's not that difficult, but it's fast. The chord changes are fast, so you really have to work on it. And it's just quarter notes until the very end of the phrase. So if you look at measure 33 on the tab or the chord chart, you have B minor for 1 beat. And what I'm doing is I'm choking all these notes, all these chords. I just come back down and cut them short just to fit the style of how it's being played in the song. So B minor on 1, A on 2. And this is nice. I'm using just the middle 4 strings here too. So I can use this A and it's fine. And then G on 3, cut it short. Same fingers here, but my thumb moves to the low E string to get that low root note. Then D over F sharp, fingers stay the same, thumb on the low E string. And then on the E minor, I kind of let that ring out a little bit more. And that's on beat 1 of the next measure. And here's where you go 2 and A to D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and. Okay? And that's the biggest challenge for the song. Again, just make sure you can go to each chord individually. On its own, like that B minor is probably going to be the biggest tough one for some people. Maybe the D over F sharp too. Work on the chords on their own, and then out of time, just play through the chord progression. E minor, A, D, 3, and then once you get that down, then put it in time. Start trying to put it in time, even if you have to slow it down with the metronome, right? All right, once you get to the end of chorus 1, you're going to see the word staccato. That just means to go back to the top of the piece of music and play everything again. So you're going to play verse 2 again, verse the second time, right? Then pre-chorus 2, and then chorus 2 again. So that's the basic layout of the song until you get to the guitar solo. And that's all the parts of the song, almost all the parts of the song. When you move on to the guitar solo, it's the exact same progression. Your D over F sharp, G, A. So you do that same progression that you just did on the chorus here 3 times, and it's a little bit different on the 4th time. The progression isn't different, but the rhythm is. So do it 4 times or 3 times as you would normally over the guitar solo. So comes 3. Starts out the same way on the 4th time, but when you get to the and of 3, you start doing downstrokes, all downstrokes to build up, so into the next chorus. And then go to keep your 8 notes going and go to a G for 3 8 notes, and then move to an A for the rest of the measure. All downstrokes, and progressively get louder too. So. And this gets us into chorus 3, which is the same chord progression as all the other courses, but the rhythm is a little bit different. I switched to strumming here just to give it a little more energy for the last chorus of the song. And let me play the rhythm for you. It's all downstrokes, 8-note strumming pattern. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the counting on here, and I'm just using all downstrokes, is just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I just line that up with the. Just line that up with the chord progression, the D, D over F sharp, G, and then A. And you do that 4 times, and at the end of 4 times, you go into the we found love right where we are, that part. Do it 3 times, so do it again. And the last time you do it, you just slow down a little bit there for the ending. All right, just to recap the layout of the song for you, you're gonna play verse 1, pre-chorus 1, chorus 1, and then you're gonna follow the da capo words back up to the top of the sheet, and then play verse 2, pre-chorus 2, chorus 2, then you have the guitar solo, and then you have chorus 3, and then you're gonna tag chorus 3 with the. You're gonna do that 3 times, and on the 3rd time, just slow down a little bit. Okay, that's it for this one. If you have any questions about playing guitar in general or this song, let us know. Send us an email to support@guitarfam.com. And if you haven't yet, go to guitarfam.com, create your complimentary account, and get started with the first module of all of our premium courses today. And if you haven't already, schedule that first private one-on-one lesson with me. The first one's free. That's it.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? And darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. Baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. crowds don't remember my name. When my hands don't play the strings the same way, I know you will still love me the same.